All right, welcome in, party people. We got One Piece chapter 1134. This is the last video over the chapter I will be making, but today we're here to go through the comment section, read through what you guys are theorizing about, and also to talk about Jump Festa. So, Jump Festa is the newest thing, so we'll talk about that first. But yes, as per usual, Oda dropped a leaked panel of the upcoming chapter, but since Jump Festa took place on Sunday, the chapter was for Sunday. So the leaked panel was, of course, the Black Lightning hitting the Elbaf castle, which we kind of already knew about. So, on to the Jump Festa message though. Oda always likes to drop hints as to what the coming years will be about. Sometimes Oda isn't always spot on, or the message is super vague, so, take that with a grain of salt while we're going into this. So yes, let's get into the message. We will cut in halfway to the important stuff. So, Oda says, people ask me, why are you putting so much effort into the live action adaptation when One Piece is already popular around the world? Yes, it may be quite known internationally in the manga and anime realm, but if you're told that there's a bigger playground out there in the world, wouldn't you want to go and explore it? That's why I'm putting my all into everything. The manga, the anime, the films, and the live action. And so, the team is lining up various projects and announcements for One Piece next year. Please look forward to the anime series resuming, and with an approach that is more in tune with the times. I'm sure it'll be easier for everyone to enjoy. So, a couple of things with this. First up, I am super excited. If you haven't watched it yet, there is a One Piece Egghead Island Part 2 anime trailer out there that they debuted over at Jump Festa, and it looks phenomenal. I'm so glad that One Piece is finally woken up in a sense, and they said, hey, it's 2024, it's about to be 2025, let's make the anime great again. And that is exactly what they're doing here. The minute we hit Egghead Island, we got a brand new animation style, everything has been more consistent, we got brand new sound effects. My god, the One Piece anime has never been as good as it is today. So, on to the various projects of One Piece they will be announcing. It has been confirmed without a shadow of a doubt, One Piece has a film in the works. And there's a good chance it will release sometime in the year. We don't know for sure yet. I think somebody did like a timetable for it. When Film Red was announced, it took 9 months for that to release. I think Strong World from announcement to release was 6 months. Something of the sort. So yeah, expect a One Piece movie in like the next 12 months, I would say. That's a pretty safe bet right there. As far as what the movie is about, we don't know. No trailer, no name, no nothing. So everything is still very hush-hush about it. And yeah, that's pretty much all we got, right? As far as the other various One Piece projects they will be announcing, hopefully, I pray every day, I hope and pray that we will get a good One Piece fighting game in the future. Dude, One Piece is made for a fighting game. The fact that we don't have one yet is insane. Yes, we have Burning Blood, but Burning Blood, on average, only has about 30 to 50 people playing it per day. Like, that game is dead. It did not sell well. There's a reason why after Burning Blood, they didn't make a Burning Blood 2. The next thing we have to talk about is the fact that the Franky voice actor has finally retired. He said his goodbyes on stage. I'm sure you guys might have seen that by now. Franky took his panties and put them on the stage, and then Subaru Kimura, the new Franky VA, picked up the panties and put them on in his stead. It was a really nice symbolic gesture, I think. Kind of awkward, but, it was cool. If you're a One Piece fan, the whole thing made sense. If you're not a One Piece fan, I'm sure it looked pretty insane. But yeah, Subaru Kimura is the new Franky VA. I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to go forward. I think he has a really vast range when it comes to voice acting. I was going down the list of all the animes he's been in, and no two characters are all that similar in terms of their voices. So this guy has a crazy range, man. Like, I was looking through it, I was like, what? He voices this guy? He voices that guy? People are pointing out that he voices Toto. Like, that's the most popular role he's had thus far. I know him from Haikyuu. He was Tendo. And I was like, damn, dude, like, I can't even imagine that being the same person. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how he's going to perform. We don't know when he's going to start. I'm assuming he's going to be there at the start of Egghead Island Part 2. But that's just wishful thinking. As far as the Franky VA goes, he says that he will return one day. I don't think he means that he will come back into the One Piece anime. I think he more so means that he's recorded a lot of things already, and they're going to be used at a later date. Like, for example, the Jinbei voice actor did say that they already voice acted the entirety of the next One Piece movie, so I think the next One Piece movie will be Kazuki Yao's final bow to the series. But of course, that is just speculation on my part. So now, on to the final part of Oda's Jump Festa message, and then we'll get to the comment section. They say, as for the manga, we finally arrived in Elbaf. It's a laid-back kingdom, but the serenity is about to be shattered by the arrival of a particular man. Meanwhile, there will be turmoil in other seas as well. At last, that one guy will begin shaking up the world. Take a deep breath now, because soon you may not be able to come up for air. Please look forward to a super year One Piece in 2025. Yo, who is that man? So as far as the guy who's arriving on Elbaf that Oda's talking about, I think that is definitely the Shanks person, right? Whether you think it's Shanks, a clone, a twin, whatever, it's probably that guy, right? He just arrived, Black Lightning and all. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna shake things up, man. I mean, everything's laid back for now, but, you know, when a villain arrives, yeah, you can't be laid back anymore. So as far as the man shaking up the seas, I think he's talking about Dragon. Maybe that's wishful thinking, right? But, you know, that guy, come on. Like, it's either Dragon or Blackbeard. Like, those are my two main guesses. But I think Dragon makes the most sense because he's the one guy who hasn't been really partaking in a lot of world events. He hasn't really shaken a lot of things up yet, in my opinion. So I think it's about time we see more Dragon on screen. So now the next and final thing I want to talk about before we hop into the comment section, but the Viz translations for 1134 have just dropped. And instead of calling the character Loki is talking to Mosa or Mosako, Viz actually translates their name to Shaggy, which makes sense. From what I've heard, Mosa refers to somebody who is hairy or, you know, shaggy in a way. So Viz translating that name to Shaggy makes sense. It's a good translation from what I've heard, and I kind of agree with it, right? If that means hairy, yeah, calling the guy Shaggy makes sense. But at the end of the day, I still think that once the Japanese dub hits there, we're not going to hear the name Shaggy going around. And then as far as the English dub goes, we're not really too sure what they're going to go with here. And as far as people saying, oh, like the Viz is always correct, the thing is that the Viz has been corrected many times in the past year and a half. So this wouldn't be the first time that Shaggy will just get tossed out a window, but we'll see. Like I said, I think a lot of Japanese translators have said that it is a good translation into English, but also Viz English is the only one that translated it to Shaggy, and all the other languages in the world kind of stuck with Mosa, or, you know, plays off of Mosa. But either way, though, that's neither here nor there. It's time to hop in the comment section and see, finally, what you guys are talking about and theorizing about coming off of 1134. Thanks for sticking with us so far, by the way. I feel like this is a really long intro. In my head, this was going to be really fast. I was like, oh yeah, Jump Festa, talk about this, talk about that, Shaggy, Mosa, and then we'll hop into it. I think here we are, like maybe 5 minutes into the video. All right, we got the first comment. This is the top one, and it has 270 likes. Theory: Stabs actually assassinated the prior king of Elbaf, King Harold, and Loki caught him in the act. Stabs teleported away, and Harold passed on his devil fruit to Loki in his dying moments. Loki is then caught with the dead king and blamed for his murder. Loki goes on a rampage trying to find Shanks, who he thought killed his father, but gets taken down by Shanks and the giants, who all thought it was him. I like it. And I agree with it as well. I think I talked about this a little bit in the video, but yes, I do not think Loki killed King Harold. He definitely got set up by the Holy Knights. And one thing that I noticed after reading the chapter a couple times is that in that very last panel, if you look closely, you see the throne in the background, right behind Stabs and that girl. And the throne, it has a slash mark on it, right? We don't know how the slash mark got there, but if it's connected to King Harold's murder, all I gotta say is that Loki doesn't have a sword. He doesn't have a sword. He doesn't have an axe. He doesn't have anything that could make that cut, right? Loki has a hammer behind him. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see based on the angle and because Loki's so damn big. But if you look closely, Loki does just have a hammer behind him. He doesn't have a sword. So if that cut is what killed King Harold, or if it's an indicator as to what killed King Harold, Loki didn't do it. Judge, the murder weapons do not match. So yes, I agree with this. I actually did not think about this last part you said, though. The fact that he was looking for Shanks and he couldn't find him. I like that a lot. This also could add another layer too onto why Loki said that Shanks was a coward, right? Maybe he's like, oh, like Shanks, well, stabs, killed my dad, and then he ran away. I took the blame. What a coward that guy is. I think that right there might have been the case. But also, Loki's subordinates said that they passed out recently due to red-haired Shanks' Conqueror's hockey. So maybe Shanks visited Loki afterwards and they kind of talked it out and said, hey, it's not me, buddy, right? I think that's what might have happened. I think Loki knows that there's two Shankses. So this is big because Luffy freeing Loki and Loki giving Luffy information about Shanks is going to be a lot more impactful than I initially thought. Because at first, it was like, okay, like maybe we get some Shanks backstory here on Elbaf, right? Maybe, oh, Shanks did this, and that's why he's welcomed by the Giants. I thought it was going to be that simple. But if Loki knows about both Shankses, this information is going to be very valuable, right? Luffy, hurry up and free this guy, right? Next comment, though, going down, they say, I love how Sai's cats are just fighting in the background while he's recording this. Yeah, they're not here right now, but sometimes you will catch my cats fighting. They don't fight often, by the way. I don't know. It's like certain scenarios. I kind of wish I could know what's going through their heads. Because like 1 minute they're vibing together, and then the next minute it's just like, it's a battle, dude. It's a freaking battle. It's like God Valley in here. So next, they say, it seems that someone took advantage of Loki's kindness, and he suffered because of it. So he created a shell to protect himself, pretending to be a bad guy. I'm more and more convinced that Loki is a nice guy and that he won't be the antagonist, but rather a friend of Luffy. And I completely agree. And it kind of goes back to what, a lot of us have been saying ever since Loki first met Luffy, right? If Loki does have a sun god devil fruit, what will his reaction be when he sees Luffy with the sun god devil fruit, right? I feel like they're kindred spirits. Maybe like when they transform, they'll vibe together, or maybe they'll teach each other how to fight more. Like maybe Luffy excels in his sun god Nika properties, and then Loki has his own sun god that he's kind of playing with. I don't know. I do see them as almost like brothers to an extent, right? Brothers from a different mother, I guess is how people put it. Next one says, Chopper will be able to talk to the owl and understand the secret of the giant books. Oh. Huh. Wait, no, dude, you're cooking. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Chopper can just talk to the owl and say, hey, why the hell are the books getting big? I mean, I imagine that the owl maybe doesn't know either. Huh. I mean, if the owl doesn't know, that'd be kind of funny, right? Hey, dude, what's happening? And the owl's just like, who? Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. No, this is a really good solution. I like this a lot. Chopper, people forget, but Chopper has the ability to talk to animals. And the reason why I say people forget is because Chopper doesn't utilize it super often. Like he does it like once every 200 chapters. I think that's the average. It sounds like it's exaggeratory, but I think that's literally what it's like. Outside of that, though, there is one thing I have to talk about. And this isn't a comment. This is a side tangent. But I don't trust Ange. I said this in the review video. I sounded like a maniac. I have nothing to back it up. But there's something about Ange's character that just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. And it's not the appearance, by the way. It's not the appearance. But Ange, I think she's a sleeper agent. I think she's selling here on Elbaf. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'm going to be like the village lunatic, like the boy who cried wolf, but I'm going to keep it up. This is the hill I'm going to die on. This is my raid will fail. Ange is not a good person. Watch. Okay, next comment though. Lunacy aside, the Holy Knights just being there this early on in the arc gives more reason for Captain Luffy to fight with and for the Elbaf warriors, aside from the feast. Yep. I think Luffy will be a big point here in Elbaf. I mean, this is the homeland of the sun god lore, right? This is where it originated from. Luffy's got to show out. And I think the Giants might have something that will boost Luffy's powers as well, right? Because think about it. Imagine all other anime and fictional stories you've read thus far. Whenever a character with certain powers goes to the power's homeland or its origin, they get stronger. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if the Elbaf warriors teach Luffy, you know, other drums of liberations or other beats he can make, or, you know, what the sun god of the past did. And then that right there inspires Luffy to a whole brand new moveset. I could totally see it. Of course, that is some speculation, but yeah. I do think that Luffy will fight with and for the Giants. And of course, Luffy, just like Usopp, absolutely love those big lugs. So now, they say, bro is in shambles over Ripley. I'm a simple guy, dude. I'm a simple guy. You know, a good-looking woman can change a man. That's how it is. I mean, all of a sudden, I like the Giants, dude. Oimo and Kashi. Hey, dude, maybe they cooked over there at Eni's lobby. Dorian Brogy, my God, 100-Year War. That's so badass. Yeah. I love the Giants now. Am I the only one who thinks Loki and Mosa resembles Usopp and Kaya? I feel like he acts like a hero during story times with Mosa, like Usopp did. Oh, okay. Yeah, Loki and Mosa. I mean, there are theories that Mosa is a girl, right? We don't know their gender because, you know, I wish we had voice acting, right? Like, imagine you could just hit play on a chapter and then it's fully voiced. That'd be so cool. But since we don't have the Mosa voice, we don't know if they're a guy or gal. If it's a gal, I could totally see this. And I do think that Loki's character is kind of like a extreme bad timeline version of Usopp, right? Just somebody people don't believe, you know, somebody people take out of context all the time. And if we're saying that Loki was framed, that's Usopp, right? In Syrup Village, Usopp was framed by Captain Kuro. Like, we could be looking at a very similar situation here. So I really do like this connection, and with Mosa as well. One thing I've seen people talk about is that Mosa is probably going to be a guy, because the Denden Mushi has like a lot of hair. It's got like this weird mustache beard thing going on. But I don't think that is because of Mosa's appearance, because this is a special snow transponder snail that is cold resistant. And I'm just assuming that's like fur on the snail to keep it warm. I could be wrong here. We could even be looking at one of the Yeti Cool Brothers. Sorry, we don't know their race, but you know, the Yeti Cool Brothers, they are giants and they're like a subsection of them. So maybe Mosa is one of those guys. Maybe Mosa is a Yeti giant, whether it be a guy or gal. I think that'd be pretty good. And I do like the whole Usopp and Kaya connection here. I do think that if Usopp is going to be important, having a character that parallels him, I think is amazing. So now, on to the next comment. They say, what if the mysterious person off the coast of Elbaf was saying, come on then, to the Holy Knight ship instead of Luffy's crew? I like that. I like this a lot, and it makes me wonder who it is even more, right? Who out there would say, come on then to Holy Knights? Dude, broken record, man. I'm a broken record. But Scopper Gabon or Shiki? Two characters that have seen and fought the Holy Knights. They are both at God Valley. If they know the Holy Knights exist, then yeah, I could totally see them waiting here for the Holy Knights. 100%. As far as why they were off the coast, we don't know. Maybe he was looking for their ship. Maybe he kind of felt the black lightning in the air and he started walking away. Not too sure. Hopefully we see this guy soon, though. I feel like this mystery is going to get crazier and crazier until we finally get the reveal. Hopefully it's a good one, though. Bruh, imagine if Luffy gives this fake Shanks his hat, and then bruh goes to Fishman Island and wipes it out, fulfilling the prophecy of a man in a straw hat destroying it. I like this first part. I just imagine Luffy giving him the hat, and then the guy like throws it on the ground and steps on it. That'd be so cool, dude. Yeah, maybe it could be like a parallel or callback to the scene where Shanks puts the hat on Luffy. Maybe we have Luffy and then Shanks is stepping on it. Yeah, that'd be so good. Or, sorry, fake Shanks. As far as the guy going to Fishman Island and destroying it, I don't see that happening, because if I recall correctly, Madame Charlie, she explicitly saw Luffy. It wasn't just the straw hat, it was Luffy in the straw hat. Which is why the whole Katarina Devon theories went crazy back in the day. Katarina Devon can transform, it's gotta be her. Personally though, I think Luffy, like the real Luffy, will be the one that destroys Fishman Island, but I think it will be for a good reason. So now, on to the second part of the comment. They say, also, the king might have reached to other kingdoms and told them about their expensive library, making the Holy Knights act, since a library of giants probably covers the Void Century due to their age. So the Holy Knights were sent to kill the king. Loki probably took the blame to keep his father's dream of working with humans alive, since the giants would hate humans if they knew the truth, effectively making Loki a martyr. That's why he reacts that way with Mosa. He doesn't want the truth getting out, so he's playing the villain. I like this last part. The Holy Knights killing King Harold because of the library. I don't mind this part. I think the Holy Knights did have a hand to play with King Harold's murder, but if they did it because of the library, it wouldn't make sense since the library is still standing. I feel like it's one of those things where you kill King Harold and then you toss a match on the library and set it aflame. So the fact that the library is still standing makes me believe that that is not their goal. Maybe it is. Maybe, you know, they waited all these years to finally execute the plan of destroying the library, but I think they had bigger fish to fry. Maybe it was because King Harold wanted to progress giant society, because King Harold wanted to make trade and peace with other nations. Maybe that's where the Holy Knights stepped in and said, hey, slow your roll, right? It kind of reminds me of Wano, where Momonosuke was faced with the decision to open the borders of Wano and, you know, introduce Wano back to the rest of the world, but he didn't do it. And when he didn't do it, the Gorosei said, oh, like, they must have a really shrewd leader as the shogun. And in reality, Momonosuke kind of just made that decision based off of a whim and based off of how he's feeling at the moment. So maybe it's one of those situations where King Harold did what Momonosuke didn't do, and then he got executed in the process. You know, he moved a little bit too soon. The world wasn't ready for the giants to come back into society. But of course, like I said, all speculation. We don't really know too much yet. So now, on to the next comment. They say, no way, bro left his hatred for giants behind. Ripley did the impossible. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I believe that the owl living in the library has consumed a devil fruit that may be somewhat akin to Charlotte Montdior's book fruit. However, instead of trapping living beings, his fruit would cause books to expand in size. This devil fruit could potentially be like, oh, the library fruit. Sorry, I saw this and you put it in Japanese, which is really cool. You know, it's authentic, but at the same time, I was like, huh? Like, what is that? Am I having a stroke? Yes. So Montdior, though, I will say, Montdior can also expand the sizes of books, but outside of that, the owl having it, I've seen theories about that, right? The owl expanding the size of books. I don't think it's bad, but if the owl is the one who's doing it, then I think this would make for a horrible mystery. Like Saul said, yo, like, this is the mysterious owl library, right? When you walk through these doors, the books expand. It's like, okay, if the owl that's standing right there is the one who's doing it, and the giants had no clue for over 20 years, that'd be crazy. Like, us, right? Me, you, all of us, we are speculating that the owl is doing it. If we came to this conclusion with one page and the giants have not figured it out after 20 years, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. So I hope it's not the owl for the giant's sake, but I do think the owl makes the most logical sense if you're just to look at the page. I think there might be like a bigger mystery at hand. Maybe there's like somebody in the library doing it. Maybe somebody said runes as well. I don't think it's runes because that's another one of those things where it's like, okay, if it's a rune, why do the giants not know about it? You would think they will look at the rune and say, hey, this right here is doing it, guys. Like, this rune on the door, it's the one that's causing the gigantification of books. So I'm not too sure how I feel about this mystery yet. One explanation I saw that I really enjoyed, actually, was somebody said that in the past, somebody had Montdior's devil fruit, the book fruit, and they awakened here. They awakened here, and now books just get bigger. I like that idea a lot, because it reminds me of Long Ring Longland, where every animal on Long Ring Longland is really long. Well, not just animals, but the land and the trees, everything is long over there. And they're saying that that place is where everyone is free, right? So it kind of seems like, oh, like the Gamu Gamu no Mi or the Sun God Nika fruit awakened and permanently changed the landscape. Maybe it's like how Punk Hazard is all ice mountains and volcanoes because of Akainu and Kuzan's fight. Or maybe like how people are speculating that Enies Lobby is eternally bright because somebody with Kizaru's devil fruit awakened on that island. I think in a way, this could fit in that category of mysteries where, oh yeah, like maybe somebody with the book fruit, 900 or 800, whatever, how many years ago, they awakened and now things just permanently get bigger in this library. The books just get bigger. I think that is my favorite idea thus far. but we will see. Because if that is the case, then we're not going to learn that for a long time. All right, that's like some Void Century stuff right there. So now this one says, having a happy reunion with 2 people you killed is wild. Because because I talked about Kizaru having a happy reunion with Vegapunk and Kuma. Yeah. The thing is that here's my headcanon, right? This is my take on the situation. If Kuma and Vegapunk and Kizaru were in a room afterwards, I do think they'd get along. Kizaru would be bawling his eyes out, but I think Kuma and Vegapunk would probably forgive him to an extent, because they were friends. I mean, they know Kizaru's a cog in the wheel, right? He's doing his job despite his job being awful. I think friendship will prevail at the end of the day. We will see. I think this will be a really fun reunion, though. I'm looking forward to this. This is something I'm really excited to seeing, because I think Kizaru's gonna crumble, dude. Like, if somebody told Kizaru to kill Vegapunk and Kuma again, nah, man, he's quitting. He's got to be quitting at that point, right? Or at least I hope. I think Toki took the blame for his dad's death. Oh, sorry. I think Loki took the blame for his dad's death as to not throw all of Elbaf into a war-hungry rage. Yeah, I could see that. I agree with like Loki taking the blame for his dad's death. I don't know if it's willingly or unwillingly though, right? Because Loki seems really upset. Like, he doesn't seem super happy. So I think maybe he tried to tell people that he didn't do it, and in an Usopp-like manner, people didn't believe him. But yeah, I agree. This one is about my cats fighting behind me. This one says, my theory about the Owl Library is that it could be a gift to the giants from Nika. Oh, Nika. Okay. Similarly, I think that is why everything is taller in Long Ring Longland. Yep. There are powers of the Nika Fruit awakening that Luffy can't do yet, changing an environment like Akainu and Kuzan did in Punk Hazard. I like this. The reason I didn't bring it to Sun God Nika, and I think Mont Dior is a better fit, is because Sun God Nika is more like stretchy, right? Sun God Nika is more stretchy, more long. Whereas the books are literally just like, they just gigantify. Luffy can do that, but we haven't seen him gigantify anyone or anything else. It's really just rubberizing and stretching, right? But yeah, I agree though. Awakening is like the main go-to right here. I've never been blindsided so hard in the opening of an arc. I still think Big Mom shows up, but now I'm not too sure if she will be a villain or not. Plus, we got Kid, Loki, Mosa, and maybe Shiki or Scopper waiting too. Yes. Big Mom. Oh, such a weird one. Big Mom is a really, really weird topic here in Elbaf. Because I agree that Big Mom has a lot of plot relevancy when it comes to Elbaf, when it comes to her backstory, Mother Carmel, the fact that Big Mom wants to ally with the giants. She wanted to give Loki Chiffon, or sorry, not Chiffon, Lola. So Big Mom coming here, I think is great. But the problem, in my opinion, is what Pudding said when Blackbeard captured her. Pudding said, hey, if Mom was alive, you guys are going to really regret this. Making it seem like Big Mom would come after Blackbeard the minute she found out that Pudding was gone and kidnapped. And Pudding isn't a character or, family member that you can let get kidnapped, because Pudding can read the poneglyphs. Once Pudding's eye awakens, she can read the poneglyphs. So I think she is a character that takes priority, but I'm not too sure, right? Because on the opposite end, Big Mom coming to Elbaf, why would she come? She could have come to Elbaf at any point in time. Luffy being here, I don't think makes a difference. But maybe it's the fact that Kid is here, right? Whether you think Kid is dead or alive, if Kid is here, and if Law comes here as well, then that could be Big Mom's reasoning, right? Because back in Wano, Big Mom said, hey, it's not over yet, you brats. Maybe this is a rematch. Maybe Big Mom comes back, she wants to fight Kid, she wants to fight Law, and that doesn't happen. I'm going to add on to this. Maybe she doesn't fight them because they got bigger fish to fry, right? Like the Holy Knights or maybe Loki or something like that. Because I do think a Law Kid Big Mom rematch would be kind of weird. I feel like while it would be fun for the fans, right? I think I would love it. It would just feel really awkward here in Elbaf. Like, okay, Law Kid versus Big Mom again. Like, I don't know, man. Give me Stabs instead, dude. Give me Loki. But yeah, I think Big Mom could show up here. It's just like, Does she send people after Pudding? Does she split up her forces? Does she come here first and then go to Blackbeard, or vice versa? That's kind of where I'm stuck with Big Mom. And then, of course, we have to, like, overcome the big hurdle of, is she alive? I personally think so. That's why I just kind of assume this to be the case. But I know some people are feeling the opposite. Some people think that Big Mom and Kaido are both dead. But, I mean, I don't know, the I will be back line kind of slaps, you know what I mean? This could set up a scenario where Stabs defeats the Warrior Giants and them thinking it's Shanks, so Luffy will release Loki out of frustration to attack Shanks. I don't think he will. So I'm on the boat that a lot of characters will get blindsided by Stabs or the fake Shanks. Like, you know, Luffy, for example. Luffy will know that this guy is not Shanks, but because he looks so alike Shanks, Luffy will drop his guard for at least, you know, 10 to 30 seconds. It kind of reminds me of Impel Down, where Zoro popped up out of nowhere. And then Luffy was like, wait, Zoro, it's you. Why are you here? And then it was Bon Clay. Right? Like, even though Zoro didn't make any sense in being there, even though Zoro was dancing, Luffy believed it for a little bit. So even if this Shanks doesn't have the scar, even if the Shanks has his arm, I still think that Luffy would think it's Shanks for at least a little bit. But of course, only a little bit, right? The minute Shanks, or Stabs, starts attacking people, Luffy will know that this is not him. I think they'll figure that out pretty quickly. The background cats have the old giant warrior genes. Yeah, they're just constantly fighting. Constantly fighting. I say it's Jinbei who taught him the greeting. Remember how he introduced himself before the raid on Onigashima? Yep, I agree. I do believe it is Jinbei as well. Sai, name the school after King Harold. King Harold, I am the walrus. No, I guess you're right. Maybe King Harold did have walrus clothing, or like walrus tusks? Huh, I never even thought about that. And this is because I was wondering why they named it Walrus Academy and not King Harold Academy. But yeah, maybe King Harold's animal was a walrus. Or maybe he had a walrus devil fruit. Kind of cursed, huh? Emu versus Joyboy going on in the back. Yeah, my cat's going crazy. I like how a lot of these comments are about my cats. All right, last one. I hope Bonnie joins the Straw Hats, even if it's temporary. I think she would mix in very well with them. Also, it's probably a loose connection and unlikely, but Bonnie could try to tell Luffy about the Revs, or maybe even about talking to them. Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, funny enough, at the beginning of Egghead, Bonnie was like, oh, like, I met Sabo. I should tell Luffy about this, but I'll tell him later. And it's like, wait a minute. We never got that, right? I mean, of course, it makes you wonder, what does Bonnie know about Sabo that we, the readers, don't know? Because we saw the Reverie flashback. We know what happened. So if Bonnie doesn't have any new information, she's kind of just like regurgitating the same things that we know. And it wouldn't change anything about the Straw Hats, because the last thing Sabo told her was that he's going to try his best to save her dad. And that was pretty much it, you know, unless there was like a side conversation that happened and Sabo told her where the Revs are staying or how to contact the Revs, then that's huge. But if it's just the same information, I don't know. As far as Bonnie joining, I hope she does too. I love her interactions with Robin, right? Almost every panel where they're together, Robin is like holding Bonnie like a little baby. I think it's adorable. And yeah, I do love the idea that Bonnie travels around the world with Sun God Nika, and then the minute Kuma comes back online, Bonnie tells her dad about her adventure and, you know, Sun God Nika and that he's real. Dude, I just think there's so many wholesome moments coming out of that, you know? Just thinking about the future Bonnie Kuma plotline, it chokes me up a little bit. But hey, maybe Kuma dies here, you know? Bonnie has a real dad. You know, as effed up as it is to say that, Bonnie's Celestial Dragon dad is out there somewhere. So who's to say it's not Stabs? Or who's to say they don't come here to Elbaf and say, hey, Bonnie, let's go home? Or maybe like, you know, a Celestial Dragon Holy Knight pulls up, sees Bonnie with Kuma, the guy kills Kuma and says, Bonnie, it's time to stop playing pretend with that fake dad of yours. And then they drag Bonnie back to Marie Joie. Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool. I don't think the Straw Hats will let that fly, to be fair, but kind of sick, dude, kind of sick. So with that being said, though, thank you guys so much for being here. Really freaking appreciate it. Sorry I rambled for so long. You know, we got Jump Festa, some side news. I don't trust Ange. And of course, we got a lot of pretty good theories here. This is what I love about the comment section videos, man. You guys have ideas that I haven't even thought about yet. So yeah, with that being said though, thank you so much for being here again, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I think 11:35 is coming out this week. I don't know. I heard there's a chance it will come out, but there's like no confirmation yet. There's like no hints, no spoilers. So I'm going to assume that we're gonna have a really free and nice Christmas. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for, right? You know, it's Christmas time, guys. Come on. Well, with that being said, though, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you again for being here. I think that right there is like my third time saying it. Now to shamelessly plug my stuff. But of course, you guys know I have a lot of crazy channels, man. You know, obviously I wanted one channel. We ended up with 5. We got this channel right here. If you haven't yet, please consider liking, commenting, and subbing. I also have Side Retcon. That's where I post my theories. Side Spoilers, where I post One Piece spoilers. I also have Syvduck. That is where I put all my gaming channel and reaction content. I also stream over on Twitch at Syvduck as well. And last but not least, I have Somnus Reacts, where I do anime reactions. I know. You don't have to go to all of them. Pick one, pick two, pick none. Just thanks for hearing me out, guys. Peace.